Right. I think everything's good now. Back in here. Bitrate looks good. No complaints from the YouTube side of things. I think things good now. Alright, sick. So let's get back into the games. Good play with the chameleon skinks there, man. And the Sword Spears were pretty devastating. They really manhandled the Ogre Bulls. Spear Riders got good value as well. Feral Cold Ones did pretty good. And the Cohorts, some really good up trades too. Very impressive. Let me know if there's any other replays you want me to go over, Sean. Whoever is requesting replays, I will, try and get in there and play them out for you. Oh yeah, we were going to watch this one. We didn't end up watching it, so very curious to see how this goes. Crone Hellebron. Not a very common choice, but I mean, hey, she's an anti-infantry killing machine. Guess what? Lord is on the field. We got old Festus rocking out here. Festus is very weak in melee combat. He is an absolute joke at surviving decent duelist characters. He's not hopeless, it's just that he doesn't hit back very hard. So there's no reason to not stay engaged on him if the hero squad around him is elsewhere. And Hellebron hits hard enough, she might be able to kill him in like one good engagement. We'll see about it. Sven is gonna have to play very carefully with the Leech Lord there. Dread Spear's moving up. Noxbringer on the field. Lots of handbows. Handbows are a really good target for the Noxbringer. Does really good damage when it makes contact with these units and destroys a ton of ammo on them as well. Scourge Runner Chariot moving up. A couple of Dark Shards in reserve. Firecaster with Burning Head and Piercing Bolts. Flaming Sword of Ruin as well. I do like the magic choice here. I don't know about Flaming Sword of Ruin, but Piercing Bolts of Burning can do some pretty horrible damage against units. Nurgle's pretty slow repositioning, just because they have that, well, they don't get a decrease to speed. I keep forgetting that they buffed Nurgle's speed ages ago now. I don't know why I keep associating them with being such a slow faction. That's no longer the case. They move around about as well as every other faction. They have a few units that lose a little bit of speed, but nothing too crazy. It's still a good spell. I mean, Piercing Bolts of Burning, if your opponent gets caught off guard by it, it just wrecks infantry, as well as cavalry, if they're blobbed up enough. It's got a very small strike area, which is the big problem with Piercing Bolts. Blackheart Corsair Handbows fighting the Marauder Horsemen. They did get hit by a pretty fat charge from the Marauder Horsemen. They should be able to outtrade the Nurgle Horsemen over time, though. Pretty quickly. I mean, they just got really solid stats as a hybrid unit. The Throwing Axes have, like, good melee defense, but they have no melee attack, so they just won't be hitting the Blackheart Corsair Handbows now that the charge bonus is worn off for these guys. It's a beautiful Burning Head on the Marauders as well, by the way. Forsaken actually running here. Cursed Blade leeching them down a little bit. Not able to get anything done here. An 850 gold unit, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Nurgle's not going to like losing out on that unit being available. Scourge Runner Chariots taking a lot of work from the throwing axes, but they are going to run down some Pestigores. They're also chipping away at the Noxbringer, which is not being utilized very well at all. Here's the problem with doing this. As a newer player, trying to play with your characters in several different positions, oftentimes you're going to like forget about one once your micro gets stressed, and you can't really afford to forget about a unit that's 1950 gold. The Noxbringer is really critical for winning the frontline fight here, because your opponent's front line is very skirmish oriented, and this is what the Noxbringer wants to shoot, is infantry like this. It does not want to be fighting Scourge Runners and Dread Spears. Huge waste of time for the Noxbringer. You could also be over here helping out Kasich and the Exalted Hero. Crone Hellebron does get some pretty good damage down on Kasich, but he is going to be able to pull out here. He's got regeneration. He'll be fine. He's just going to get away for a bit, get about 1,000 HP back, and then he can come back in and be fairly well off. Trying to catch the Exalted Hero. Crone Hellebron not quite able to manage that. Is going to be jumping back up in the air. Nurgle holds the middle objective. In fact, they hold a triple cap. They are bleeding a lot of value away to the Dark Elves, though. Druchii are very nasty if they get a value lead and they just keep their skirmish game going the entire time. They'll run you in a frickin' circle. I mean, quite literally do laps around your entire formation. And it can get ugly pretty quickly. Coldwind Knights coming up. Honestly, they should take this fight against the Noxbringer. They can kill it pretty quick. I don't know if Sven is really paying a whole lot of attention to this thing right now. Just used a Fleshy Abundance on Kasich. Not really a great use. There's not anything to threaten him right now. They're shutting down the only unit that can really do damage to Kasich currently. He'll survive Handbow Fire just fine. Honestly, would prefer to see, try and go for Rancid Visitations. Like an Overcast Rancid Visitations on Crone Hellebron would be way stronger, because it'll do a ridiculous amount of damage to her. The Crone gets folded up by Spirit Leech and stuff like that. And Rancid is just like Spirit Leech on not just steroids, but been in the gym 10 hours a day, consuming like 30,000 calories every 2 hours, and is just like the absolute most sauced single target removal spell in the game. It is so good. Rancid Visitations Overcast does like 3,000 damage or something crazy like that. Maybe even more. You think about it. No, it does about 3,000 on the high end. Still within the threat range of her, but you can see the buffs going down, and we actually get Terror Routes, and Crone Hellebron with their 700, 800 weapon strength, and 85 melee attack just turned the Exalted Hero and Kasich into piles of putrescent goo. Kasich goes down real hard here. He's clipping. Oh, he's not clipping through the ground. There's his other leg. He's super dead, though. And that's a huge loss for Nurgle. And now Festus is all by himself. I thought Crone might go after him first. But being patient and getting rid of the other heroes is honestly, it's been really smart by Pont. There's not really been any reason to like overextend her at any point here. And we do get a Rancid Visitations, but it's the regular cast. You only get 10 seconds of duration on that. It does take her down about, what, 600 HP it looks like there. Little on the lower end of the possible damage from that cast. That's why you want to overcast as much as possible. It gives you more opportunity and time to do big damage to the enemy heroes. Bloodrack Medusa up on the number 1, slow capping it right now, but plenty of time to do that. Nurgle only holds a single objective right now, which is the number 1. They've lost the number 2 and the number 3, and they're both fairly well secured by the Druchii here. with the value lead they have, they're going to take the number 1. And it's going to be pretty much game over when Festus goes down. And Festus is not getting out of here. He doesn't have great mass, so the Cold One Knights with their 1,500 each, just one model is locking Festus in place, and Crone Hellbrand's just kind of going crazy on him right now. She's got 3,000 value almost. She could end up with about 4, depending on how these go, but the Exalted Hero does rally and gets back in here to take the one-on-one against the Crone. Festus routing, takes another couple shots from Crone. Oh, she is just absolutely clowning on Nurgle here. Having a great old time. And she gets another terror route, dude. Oh my god. Brutal losses. The character squad for Nurgle is usually pretty durable and hard to deal with. But in this game, they just got picked apart. I mean, there are no words other than just total domination and destruction here by Pont. Fralker's bubonic holding and doing a little damage to the Dread Spears, but they just aren't going to be able to kill the Dread Spears before the game is like basically over anyways. See the little popcorn bandits flying around doing their Cirque du Soleil routines. They look pretty cool. A lot of personality. I gotta respect them for that. Alright. What else we got going on here? Ochres versus Kislev, maybe. Amblepeak Greybacks? No freaking way, dude. Never see people bring Yetis. Yetis are just like left out in the cold because they don't really do anything that amazing. The magic damage is great, but the targets of opportunity for Yetis is a little limited. Because most of the units where the magic attacks are going to be useful against Fizzres are like already low armor units, so the AP is a little pointless. Their leadership is 70. It leaves a little bit to be desired. It is better than Ogre Bulls, but they are a lot more expensive. I don't know. One day we'll figure out how to use Yetis. Maybe people will be running scared at that point. This is a different... No. Wait, Beluga did play Pont. Dang. Pont got double beat by Khorne. I want to see this game. This is a very different Khorne build from what we saw earlier. You got 3 Chaos Warrior Halberds with Marauders here. Maybe Seth doesn't win this one, but Seth was in the semis, I'm pretty sure. We'll just find out. I mean, I don't know if there's any way of making any kind of guarantees of who is or isn't winning. Okay, Valkia. Very cool. She's hovering overhead. Sorceress is hiding in the woods. Is she on foot? No, she's on horseback. That's a good call. People seem to have this idea that Valkia can't kill foot characters. That's just not true. She is a nightmare against, like, foot casters. She brutalizes them really badly. It's actually better to have your casters on, like, horseback or something. Because at the very least, they can at least escape from Valkia once Valkia lands. Valkia is not a unit that has 95 speed when she's on the ground. It doesn't get shown, but when she's running around on foot, she's closer to like 40 foot speed, which really isn't all that great. Good damage with the throwing axes against the Scourgerunner Chariots. Very impressive stuff. Really liking their performance so far. Taking a lot of poke from the Dark Shards and the Black Arc Corsair Handbows now, though. Definitely want to use the infantry to get forward at this point, and maybe start pressing the Dark Elves a little bit more aggressively here. Oh no, brutal, unfortunate charge there. Scourge Runners just kind of bounce off the front of the Marauders here, and there are Halberds, like, right next to the Scourge Runners here. So Halberds actually get some decent value. I mean, 200 in value already on them. Really nice Sloupnir onto the Blackheart Corsair Handbows. Pretty good damage. I actually would prefer, though, to see it cast here. 2 reasons. Blackheart Corsair Handbows have good armor at 80. They resist a lot of the damage of Sloupnir, which is, you know, 60 damage, 50% of that being AP. It's pretty damn strong. You would one-shot the Dark Shard. I kid you not. I mean, these guys would probably have about 1,000 HP left if you hit them right down the line, just like you did with those Blackheart Corsairs. The Corsairs are still alive. They didn't lose any models, and the Marauders are not really going to be able to catch them. They're a little slower than the Corsair Handbows. And I don't know. I mean, it's just my preference. Dark Shards are pretty devastating to your Armored Warriors. Getting rid of them without having to engage them in melee is pretty nice. It's one of the big selling points of Valkia, that she can just aggressively clear range units so easily. Just because of her item. Purple Sun Azirius goes down, but just a bad rotation on the Vortex. You know, the Khorne units just kind of get away from it. God, dude. Purple Sun is just so up and down. This is why I don't really like it. And against Khorne, who's already got built-in missile, or not missile resist, but spell resistance, I'm not 100% sure on it. I think Doom and Darkness would be a little bit better, because you can get the Khorne units below 50% leadership, right? Which removes their frenzy, which is really dangerous for the Khorne units. Because, you know, they're losing, like, the big selling point of the mark here. I mean, the spell resistance and the armor is nice, but frenzy is really where the Khorne units, like, make their payback. Without the frenzy, they're just, like, worse than pretty much every other marked Chaos Warrior or Marauder variant. Dreadspears being jumped on. We got the Furies in the back line, but the Scourge Runner Chariots get a great charge off on them and just kind of flatten one of those Fury units. But not before they're able to continue compromising the Dark Shards and the Blackheart Corsairs here. Both these Furies just need to chase off this infantry, while the Khorne forces just like follow up on the rest of the Dark Elf army. Really nice Sloupnir, nailing the Dread Spears. Gonna be able to isolate the other Dread Spear here as well, I'm sure. The Khorne Halberds, they've done okay. It's a really close game, dude. God, Khorne's games with Khorne are just so back and forth, oftentimes. You can absolutely steamroll your opponent, but by that same token, if your opponent kites you around, does a really good job of preserving their range troops, they can have you on the back foot pretty quickly. Fury's not getting a lot of value here. The other one doing okay. Scourge Runner Chariots finally go down. One model here, 2 models on this one, but one is dying. Ravagers of Rakarth might die outright. Brutal. But those Furies are going to crumble out in just a moment, I believe. There's been a lot of crumbling on the Khorne units, and the Dark Elves do have a decent force left. Unlike last time, where Beluga was able to just totally overwhelm this exact same build, by the way, from Pont. Seth's slower infantry force, like the more heavy infantry, I've just not really been able to compromise everything at once. Beluga won against Pont because he was able to kill all of the missiles in the first opening minutes of the game. And the Dark Shards and the Shades have gotten to value trade pretty nicely already. Most of the damage on this Dark Elf army is concentrated in the infantry department. And again, the Blackheart Corsairs have been a little disappointing, but There's not a lot of mobility on the field for Khorne, and the Dark Shards are going to feast on the Khorngors and the Warriors now. Valkia flying around, only 800 value on her. She's just not that great into the Dark Elves. Dark Elves have a lot of stuff that can kill Valkia, and I've just never seen her be that amazing against them. She's better against the other elf factions, like the Wood Elves and the High Elves especially. She's pretty damn strong in. Against the Dark Elves, you just want Skull Taker, because the missiles can kill him, sure, but if you shut down the missiles and you just have him like running over all the infantry, he does an obscene amount of damage to the Druchii front line. And him buffing all of your units up is pretty amazing too, because the extra melee attack and leadership tends to like lend itself to just huge uptrades in your favor. That was not a good Sword of Khorne, unfortunately. You're better off just killing the one shade here, honestly. That would have been a more worthwhile use of it. Knights of the Ebon Claw fighting Valkia here. She is alone on the ground against them. Not a great spot to be in. She is going to be able to get away here. Really good micro from Pont, charging into the unbraced halberds. Khorngors getting over, though. They're going to quickly drag down this very elite Dread Knight unit. Khorngors are a little sad at times. They are a unit that, if you're good with your positioning on them, can get you like double the value back pretty quickly. They do a lot of damage. It's just that they're a little vulnerable to shooting, and their speed is like good as a Beastman unit, but for the role that they perform, they do really need mass, and there's not a lot of that available for Khorne. Looks like there's a little bit of a late game push here, though. This one Fleshhound has done a great job of shutting down not just those shades, but also killed some of the Blackheart Corsairs and helped shatter this Dark Shard. Spirit Leech going down on Valkia, doing a little bit of damage to her. Looks like Seth is actually like right back in this game. Needs to cap the points, but that's really about it. The Halberds in the late game are looking like a good summon, honestly, because there's not enough missiles to punish them anymore. Like, you've got a couple of pieces here. You got one handbow and 40 Dark Shards about. And they could put down some decent damage on the Chaos Warriors, but Cold Ones are not going to be able to take this fight. They can't just steal this objective away either. Hold on, guys. One sec. Okay. Just reading some news stuff. Shit is going crazy around the world right now. I'm just wondering what is happening exactly I'm getting updates on. It's relatively good news, at least. Minotaur's coming up. They're going to be a very good anchor piece. Valkia looks to be landing on the Blackheart Corsairs here. Not a bad idea. These guys have solid stats, but they're not an anti-infantry unit. So, Valkia can sit in here. She'll be able to kill quite a few of these guys. She's already killed 4 models. Killed 5. Oh, and she does the sync kill. Oh, that's so cool. It's probably the most amazing sync animation in the entire game right now. She like impales somebody on her spear, and then she like flies them up in the air and uses them as like a pile driver onto a bunch of other infantry units. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. It's what I want to see more of in this game. Warhammer 1 and 2 had a big emphasis on the sync animations. Not so much in Warhammer 3. It's, you know, kind of gone by the wayside, but it's still something that I would like to see get improved on. Dude, the Knights of the Ebon Claw have been absolute menaces. They've killed the Chaos Warriors and the Minotaurs here. The Minotaurs did horrible. What is going on with them? They're normally great into Cold One Knights, especially when they have infantry support, but here they just get absolutely run over. Oh my god. Another huge swing in momentum. There is a Korngor here. There's some Marauders coming up. Scourge Runner Chariot is out. Valkia going after the Dark Shards here. Keeping them locked down, getting them nice and low. She is very beat up. She did pay for herself. High Beastmaster's also pretty messed up. He's been a lot more cost-effective, though. He's way cheaper than Valkia with just Tormentor Sword and Stand Your Ground. I think he's 1,400 on this Chariot. Valkia is 1,700, which is a little pricey for a combat character. Who's, you know, very micro-intensive. Love to see her be a little healthier into the late game, maybe next time Seth is playing into the Dark Elves. Beluga brought Skulltaker, of course, and as I said, Skulltaker is just far and away the better option for this matchup, just because, you know, there's so many missiles that even though they're not hitting Valkia very accurately oftentimes, since she's such a small target, every little bit matters on a character that's got 5,600 HP. And Skulltaker actually heals himself, so he usually survives a little bit longer. Seth with a good ticket lead, decent pocket of infantry here. Korngor is kind of getting run over right now, though. Not really value trading good at all, man. These Korngors have been so disappointing. Pretty much the entire game. Fleshhounds do get after the Scourge Runner Chariot and shut it down, and my god, 2,400 value on this Fleshhound. It's kind of crazy. This is the second or the third time it's come out. It's paid for itself pretty much every single time it's been on the field. I don't imagine that's going to change here, especially if it starts killing models, and the Scourge Runners did take one down already. Really good stuff, 2,600 and counting. Little caught up on the spears now. It's probably going to die. Corn needs to hold on to the number one. You got some Blackheart Corsairs here that the Fleshhounds are going to be trying to shut down. Come on, get them. Get them, boys. Yes, the evil doggies. He's just tossing dudes around. Oh, it's beautiful. Fleshhounds of Corn are a really fun unit. They're such a fun little mobility tool to have. They do a lot for you. They got good mass. They're very good at breaking down chariots, hounding down stuff like Dark Shards in the charge. They're good at compromising infantry positions in the front line by rear charging them. Everything you possibly want in a unit. Other than their weak armor and leadership. That's the only thing that holds Fleshhounds back. Purple Sun Azirius does punish the Corn units, but also basically kills all of the Dread Spears that were stuck in here. You're going to hold on to the number 2 as a result. Still, I just don't know, man. Corn only needs the one objective. They just need to wind the clock out. Valkia needs to go hide at the back of the map so she doesn't die. I would go and land her in the trees over here. She'll be pretty much impossible to spot back there. It looks like the Sorceress might be coming over to try and get one last Spirit Leech off. Good heads-up play from Pont. Stopping here. Come on, use it. Not seeing it. Fleshhounds could go after the character, but probably just want to kill the Scourge Runners and then maybe try to hold up the Dread Knights. Here we go. Corn flipping the field now. You got the Fleshhounds out here going after these Dark Shards. You got the throwing axes looking to secure the number 3 objective by running down those Blackheart Corsairs that are left out over there. Scourge Runners go down. Here's Spirit Leech. Valkia does shatter. Does she die outright? Nah, she's going to have like 100 HP left. Yeah, 93. She'll route off. She'll go back in the reinforcement pool. It is going to mean that the Fleshhounds here probably crumble out in just a minute. They ain't doing too hot right now. The minus 16 penalty is going to be really brutal for them. You see it does go down here. Korngor is getting run over by the Dread Knights. And fleshies. Oh, they were trying to chase off the High Beastmaster. He was able to get away. 2 throwing axes for Khorne out on the field. Really strong in the late game against factions like the Dark Elves. Because they're very good at out-skirmishing the Dark Elves' most powerful melee units, which is the Cold Ones. Either the regular Cold One Knights with the AP anti-large, or the Cold One Dread Knights who just have solid generalist stats. See them with these maces. Look pretty damn sinister. They got a really cool vibe to them. Fleshhounds and Marauders getting charged down. A lot of horsemen having a rough time of it, actually. This one is going to rout even. Oh my god, dude. They're freaking full health. And the Relentless Rage comes down right as they rout. You gotta be kidding me. I hate it when that happens. I wish that they would change Relentless Rage. Because as it stands now, this happens way too often. What it needs to do is remove routing and then make the unit unbreakable and cannot die. The fact that your unit can break and rout when that ability is on them is really dumb. I know that they started routing before Relentless Rage went off, but because of the way that it's designed, you're incentivized to squeeze out every last second on it. You don't want to use it too early because of the way it's designed, and I just would love to see it get a small buff by stopping the route and then giving all of the other buffs. Because then you could use it as a semi-rally ability. And it would still make sense for Khorne, right? I mean, I don't think it'd be messing anything up. No worries, Sean. Yeah, I just swapped streams. It was a little too out of sorts over there, so I just restarted everything over. Beastman versus Dowie? Absolutely. It's a really great matchup to talk about. Beastman Khorne. It's Beastman Dark Elves. Where's Beastman Dowie? I mean, Beastman Grand Cathay in a lot of ways isn't too terribly dissimilar of a matchup. That's a little bit of hyperbole. Grand Cathay has got a lot of differences between the dwarves. I don't know if we had any Beastman Dowie. Did I have a Beastman game against dwarves here? No, I didn't. I would show you one of mine, but the update, I deleted most of my replays because they were all broken. Don't really have a great reference point for you. Did you save and send one in, Piston? I knew you were playing them. Maybe I missed one of your replays. Is this it? One sec, guys. Oh, that's not it. Man. I'm looking in the Discord right now. Looking to see if I can find any Beastman. Oh, here it is. I got it, Piston. Sweet. Let me drop it in here real quick, man. And I'll get it set up for you. Wrong folder. Get admin. Open up the bazillion folders that the replays are all hidden in. We got a couple of Dowie games. Beastman versus Dowie is not bad for... I mean, it's not great for the Dowie, but it's not terrible either. It gets a little tricky for the Beastman at times. Although I'm already noticing a lack of artillery for the Dowie, which is pretty important against the Beastman because the artillery shuts down the cannons so hard. Lacking the cannons is going to be a big problem for the dwarves, I think, because the Beastmen are so much more mobile. They don't really need to engage the dwarves. I will say, Piston, I don't like this front line. This is not what you want to be bringing as your opener against the dwarves. Like, the Cygor is okay, but all these Ungor Raiders and the Ungor Spearherds, Centaur Great Weapons, against this build, you're gonna be okay, because Hattie's not, like, really well prepared for the Centaur Great Weapons, but most Dowie players are gonna bring a cannon, and cannons just wreck Centaurs. I prefer a slightly more infantry-focused build overall against the Dowie, just no matter what faction I'm playing. You're always going to be faster than them anyways, so having just like a bunch of units with like 92 or, you know, like 100 speed or whatever, it doesn't really do you that many favors because the Dowie win by sitting on 2 points. And really, the only way your Centaurs are going to get value is intercepting stuff in the backfield, and this map is a little difficult to intercept reinforcements on. There's a lot of protected terrain. You'd have to go all the way around into the back line here if you wanted to start intercepting stuff with your Centaurs. And if your opponent's smart, they just bring a ton of Slayers out, right? I actually prefer the Razorgore Chariots here. Because the Razorgore Chariots kill all of the stuff that Centaurs do and more. Centaurs do not get good charges off on Slayers. Razorgore Chariots can half the HP of a Slayer with a good charge. It's really gross. Ah, Runesmith dropping the Wrath and Ruin rune. Good damage on the Ungor Spearherd here. Ungor Raiders poking away at some of the miners. Not great. You know, I mean, it's going to take them ages to break down one miner. You want to use the Ungor Raiders to poke the Slayers. Slayers get hard countered by Ungor Raiders. I do tend to bring a couple of them, but I bring the Ungor Raiders in reserve. Bringing them in the opener leaves you at a little bit of a deficit in terms of momentum onto objectives. Beastmen, with all the Vanguard deployment they have, even if the Dowie also Vanguard a ton of stuff forward, the Beastmen should still get to the point and cap it first and be able to pick and choose where they want to take fights. Malagor is also landing in to fight Beligard, not what he wants to do. This isn't really a Malagor game either. You can use Malagor in this matchup because he's really good at shutting down gyrocopters. But if you want to know what I really think is the best Lord option for the Beastmen here, I think it's Kazrak on the Razorgore Chariot, or you bring a Great Bray Shaman with, God, what's it called? The Wild's Magic. You bring him with the Wild's Magic for Devolve, Mantle of Gorok, and you put him on the Razorgore Chariot, and you just support cast for the front line. You use Devolve on anything scary like Slayers. You can use Mantle of Gorok to just like juice any of your units up as the Beastmen to just turn it into an absolute world ender. It's really awesome. Cygor here, I mean, I said it can be okay, but you don't want to shoot miners with it all game. It's just not going to be very effective value. It's used a lot of its ammunition and is just not getting any real work done here. I'll show you what you can bring if you want to go Monster Mash. Good engagement out on the number 3 for now. The Cynagors with great weapons did get up into the miners. They're crushing a lot of these guys. And it looks like the Beastmen will get a win here and be able to push up onto that point. Beastmen are behind, but most of the serious damage that's been going down is on, like, crap house units for the most part. The Ungor Spear Herd are the ones taking the majority of damage. The Cynagor Great Weapons here are a little beat up. They're also bleeding a little bit of value. But having a majority of your high-value assets available still is a pretty decent sign for the Beastmen. There's a boulder shot that's worth talking about. It only killed 3 models, though. Oh. This is why I prefer the Eye of Morsleep as well. Eye of Morsleep is always better than the regular Cygor. It's more accurate as an ROR, and it also has snares. Need to get a little closer with that big boy, man. It's just never going to be able to hit accurately from all the way downtown. I do gotta say, Cygors have some serious vibes to them. That was finally a good boulder shot, my god. Took like all game to get a good shot in there. It's got 300 value. This is a 1,550 gold unit. It performing so poorly here is definitely keeping you on the back foot. And that's not really a good place to be against the Dowie. Dwarves are a faction that reinforces objectives better than just about everybody else. And the way you get around their beefy units is you make sure that those beefy units never get to point. Which is why I always recommend attacking Dowie reinforcements rather than the main force early on. Because your Dowie opponent wants to bring in the remaining like missile pieces that they need to really get set up. If you just have your front line like posted up and you're kind of like working your way through gaps around the formation to fully surround the dwarves, they can't do anything about that. The Beastmen have like all the mobility in the world to be able to punish the Dowie units that are like tardy up to the objectives. It's going to be a really good charge. Hitting these Dowie warriors while they're unbraced is a really good call. They do have a charge defense against large when they're just sitting there. Hitting them while they're unbraced means they ain't going to do nothing. Oh, and the Harpies come over to attack the Slayers. Not a bad idea. Some Pestigors also getting up here to help out. Pestigors are a little lackluster against the Dwarves. I'll show you what my anti-Dowie build is. I mean, the Pesties can work. Micro's got to be pretty on point with them, though. Look at this damn Cygor still, man. Oh my god, come on, hit a shot, please. I'm gonna lose my mind. These Iron Drakes are super bunched up, too. And Hattie has just shown absolutely no interest in trying to dodge. Just the Cygor can't hit him. Oh. If a boulder landed on these Iron Drakes, and it landed like right here, and it hit both of those units, it would kill about 12 models. And that would probably be about 400 value with one shot. Cygors have good potential. I find the regular variants are just way too inaccurate for it all, though. Finally! Oh my god. It got... Don't worry about it. It got 700 value with one boulder. It killed 8 and 9 models. Oh my god, dude. Way more damage than I was even thinking. Brutal stuff. Gotta love Cygors when they're working, dude. I'm telling you. They're an underrated unit. They're way more accurate when you get within half the distance of whatever you want to fire against, though. Iron Drake Toll Hammer torpedoes look like they're turning around to try and counterfire the Cygor for a second. And now it looks like they're just twirling around. Ooh! Damn, this big boy was struggling to pay for itself, but now it's only one more boulder away from actually getting its value back. Okay. We love it. Beastmen do get pushed off the number 3, though. Holding the number 1 barely. Oh my god. Oh, that's disgusting. The Cygor finally awaking its full MLB Major League pitcher potential here, and it's just going absolutely ham right now. Poor little Iron Drakes. Alright, this shot's not going to do anything. No, it just whiffs completely. Absolutely embarrassing. Come on, dude. I was just talking you up. I gotta look away, you know. Let's go see what Belagar's up to. Belagar is just getting killed by a million Razorgore, it looks like. What else is fighting him? Oh, the Sons of Goros are over here. Wow, Belagar fought off the Sons of Goros alone? Are you kidding me? Okay, maybe he didn't do it alone. Oh, they're over here, that's why. Got a lot of value on them, though. Damn, that's crazy. Telling you, man, Belagar is a crazy hard to kill lord. He's been alone over there for ages now, and he's still alive. Alright, the Cygor did hit something when we looked away. It's just trolling us, obviously. You know, never mind that this is a pre-recorded game. It just didn't want to hit anything while we were looking at it. It's trundling over to help out the Butchers of Kalkengard. Great late game summon. I don't like seeing people bring the Butchers in their openers. I think they're pretty bad if they come out at the start because people are already game planning for them oftentimes. Bringing them as an anchor piece in the end game, though, is really strong because they cause terror. And Dowie don't have a lot of units that are immune to that. Slayers are the only unit, other than Longbeards, that avoid terror routes. Longbeards have the ITP, and Slayers are just straight up unbreakable. Everything else is fair game, though. Unless I'm just forgetting about something, but I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure Bugman's Rangers can be terror routed. I know that Miners and Dowie Warriors can be. Iron Breakers, I guess, are ITP. They're not going to be terror routing, but you don't really see them too often. And yeah, Beastmen, some good value. Just going to be anchoring on that number 1 now. They've got the number, or the number 2, I should say. They've got the number 1 in the pocket as well. Sons of Goros running around. Yeah, they just don't, they don't stick in combat too well against the dwarves. They're a hit and run unit. I think it's a few too many Synagore Great Weapons, personally. I do like the inclusion of the Razorgore herds. I would not be pulling back from this point. There's no reason to. I know there's a Slayer unit coming in, but all you do is you just use the Butchers of Kalkengard to run over the Miners, and then they pinball out to the Bugmans, and then they go finish off the Miners. Oh, Bugmans are ITP, so never mind. They don't care about it. And what you do to kill the Slayers is just use the Unger Raiders. Like, the Unger Raiders are great at killing Slayers. They wreck those poor little guys. Slayers have 0 armor. Their shield is also a 30% block, which is okay, but really not that amazing. See the Sons of Goros bouncing back with the Razorgore herd to keep the Longbeards off the objective as long as possible, man. They need to hold off the Dowie pressure here until, I don't know, I mean, what was the thought process here, Piston? That's a lot. Oh, bring out the Cygor again. Double Harpies. The Harpies have been solid. Hold on to that point a little extra time, but the Dowie reinforcement waves, you cannot let the dwarves get on the points. Once they get on a point, they're going to be able to anchor it for ages because of how cheap their cap weight is and how durable it all is because of that armor. Like, Miners are a crap house unit, but it's still 7,600 HP to get through with 68 leadership. That's kind of hard to break down. And doing it quickly is an even bigger tall tale. And you don't have anything to break down the number 3 objective. This is why I recommend chariots. A Razorgore chariot, could run over these Slayers here and start pulling apart the number 3 objective for you. Or you could use the Razorgore chariot to be running over all these units back here. Really good dive for the Harpies. I will give you full credit for that. They're absolutely annihilating the Miners here. Should be able to take them down before they're dead and gone. This is a very interesting little Dowie formation. That's cheeky from Hattie, dude. You got the miners like bookending the Slayers, and the Slayers are just available in case any units like kind of break through either of the miner units. And then they can fight against any of the large targets. Synagor, great weapons, do get hit by Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Not too much damage, decent chunk. Getting worn out a little bit. Butcher's a Kalkengard, wannabe, oh man. You pulled off this whole point because the Slayers were coming in, and now you're going to charge into the Slayers when you've got a Cygor that can punish that brick. Get the Cygor a little closer and just have it throw boulders at the Slayers and the Longbeards here. Oh, the back unit's a Longbeard and the other one's a Miner. Okay, that makes sense. You do stop a lot of these Dowie units from getting up here, but again, look how long it's taken to even, like, vaguely wear these forces out. Beautiful boulder. Oh, yes, baby. That's it. Cygor was a little disappointing, but after a few false starts, it's ramping back up again. Let's see it. Come on. Give it to me. Oh, it's missing. I got a few guys at the end. Not that many kills, though. 2,900 or 2,099 value. Not terrible. Still would like to see it be brought up a little bit closer. But at the end of the game, which is pretty soon, I imagine it'll have like 2,400 value maybe. The Beastmen just don't have the infantry to take the points. Is the big problem. And as cool as the Cygor is to summon back in, this is not getting you any objectives. So your opponent is just like ticking the clock out. And yeah, the damage here sucks for Hattie, but like, I mean, look how much time. I mean, you got multiple Ungor Raiders, you got a whole ass Cygor throwing in here, and these guys have been surviving through all of that and aren't even breaking when all is said and done. They're still providing cap weight at the end of the day, which is kind of crazy when you think about just how much they've been getting shot up. Slowing down that number 2 cap, and then you got this whole other number 3, and this is an even tougher nut to crack. I mean, there is an absolute legion of Longbeards and Dowie Warriors to anchor this one. Oh, misclicked on the infantry. All you do with Malagor against the Dowie is just fly him overhead. He doesn't need to do anything other than pop Enfeebling Foe and Mantle of Gorok on units. Enfeebling Foe on enemy units, Mantle of Gorok on any friendly stuff. And then he just attacks Gyrocopters whenever they come in. Or tries to fight Iron Drakes. He's actually pretty good at killing Iron Drakes. You know, they got a ton of armor, and he doesn't have the most AP in the world, but Iron Drakes don't really have a way to get Malagor off of them. Like, it forces your opponent to send another unit over to try and handle him, and then you just run away. The Iron Drakes cannot punish Mally, because he's too small and too fast to hit. Synagor throwing axes, I wouldn't bring. I don't mind the Harpies. I would cut this Ungor Raider. I like the Sons of Goros. I wouldn't bring 2 other Synagor great weapons. Again, I just love the Razorgore Chariot performance in that matchup. I swear up and down upon everything that is holy and unholy alike that a Razorgore Chariot that's well microed against the Dwarves is a carry unit. I mean, I've brought them in Force before. I've brought like 3 Razorgore Chariots before. They did great work then. I've had games where my opponents prepared for them and been able to, like, actually kill the Razorgore chariots with good artillery fire, but then because so much artillery was invested in to just check the Razorgore chariots, I was still able to grind out a ticket win. And just one of these guys running over, like, multiple Dwarven units, taking, like, a third of the HP off of units at a time, it'll get 1,150 gold back way faster than a Cygor will. The Cygor is better against, what are the good matchups for the Cygors? I mean, I prefer the Eye of Moorsleep over the regular Cygor, period. I always advise against bringing the normal variant, but the Eye of Moorsleep is really good into Khorne, into Nurgle especially. Even does pretty well against Slaanesh. And Tzeentch. It actually is really good against Tzeentch. Guess what it kills? It kills the Changebringers. I was actually kind of surprised to find that out. I played against a really good Tzeentch player. One boulder from the Eye of Moorsleep killed 4 Changebringer models, which was absolutely amazing. And then it's got that snare. The Eye of Moorsleep's snare is decently long range at 100 meters. Only lasts 12 seconds, but that's long enough for the Eye of Moorsleep to get a shot off. Or you just focus fire with your Unger Raiders and get lots of, like, cycle charges with your Senegors in that time, and you'll kill a unit in no time at all. Let me show you my build for the Dowie. It literally has not failed me yet. I'm still waiting for a dwarf player to beat me with it. You don't need Unholy Power. I don't need Flock of Doom. What am I doing? Mantle of Gorok and Enfeebling Foe. Your best bets. Can't go wrong with them. Keep them nice and cheap. You can bring icons if you want. It's not a bad item. I don't typically bring it because you're usually okay enough as the Beastman on leadership. You brought a lot of Ungor Spearherd. Don't bring the Ungor Spearherd with the shields. They don't do any damage to the dwarves. It's kind of a waste of time. I like a couple of Zangors, like a couple Goreherd, a couple Bestigors, a Razorgore Chariot. And then it's a little bit of flavor. It depends on what you want to do. I love double Wargore. These guys are an anti-infantry foot character that just shreds anything they fight. They're dirt cheap at 600 gold. They're very reliable. They can do some massive work for you as the Beastmen. You bring a Razorgore herd, and you got a really small army here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 units. Doesn't seem like a whole lot. But you've got all of your good stuff out immediately, right? You've got Vanguard on most of these units, so you can rock up and cap points immediately. You can bring the Blackhorn's Ravagers in reserve. You can do a couple of Ungor Spearherd, because you can sneak around the back line and get after your opponent. A couple Ungor Raiders ain't a bad idea. Couple of regular Centigors. The reason you bring like 2 regular Centis is they do a really good job of cleaning up Rangers. Dowie love Rangers. Really, really love them. And they're even still decent at chasing down Ironbreakers and stuff like that. Or Iron Drakes, sorry. As well as Quarrelers. They do pretty good damage to them. Get a couple more Razorgore Herd if you want, and then you just like fill out with more Gore Herd, and maybe a couple of Pestigors isn't a bad idea. And you can just reinforce the points endlessly with a build like this. You know, the Dowie are not going to be able to really do a whole lot to counter you. You can even upgrade to the shields. I just prefer to bring more in reserve and start out with more expensive units out the gate. Because you're probably going to be building up against the dwarves anyways. So really what you're doing is you're just moving with your Gore Herd and your Zangors and the Besties and the Chariots and the everything else, and just going up to one objective, capping that early, and working on starting the full surround of the dwarves. Interesting. Okay. Just got a message from somebody on Discord I was reading. That's what I would go with. Never, ever, ever fails me. Going something like this. You can also invert the summon priority a little bit. You can bring the Wargors in reserve and just bring them out as you see fit. I prefer them in the opener because they are very good at bracing on units, which allows the Razorgore Chariot to like charge up through the middle of the Dowie formation and just get into their backline immediately. And that's very hard to stop as the dwarves. They don't really have a lot of answers for Razorgore Chariots. The only time Slayers can kill a Razorgore Chariot is if the Razorgores are just completely immobile and can't move. We got 1 more hour, so let's get as many replays as we can do. And where do we want to start? This is interesting. Demons of Chaos versus Beastmen. Hell yeah. Barry Welsh individual, I'm guessing. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's like Irish, Celtic. It's a really unique name, for sure. Bobby Shmurda coming in with, is that Kairos or a regular Exalted? Yeah, like regular Exalted Lord of Change here. With the Zinch Magic, Pink Fire and Blue Fire, both really good against the Beastmen. The Demons of Chaos are pretty tough for the Beastmen to handle. Just having tons of Demon Infantry and pretty good shooting, as well as some really powerful characters, can make life miserable for the Beastmen. You got Pendulum and Enfeebling Foe. Not bad magic choices here. I'm not a huge lover of Pendulum, oftentimes. It's probably going to be okay against this Demon front line. But Bloodletters are pretty damn good against the Beastmen. I know it might sound a little silly that you want to bring a AP Greatsword Infantry against a faction with so much low armor. But Bloodletters are actually really good at clearing out chaff. They really don't struggle too badly with numbers, provided they're not getting shot at by enemy missiles. And as the Demons of Chaos, when you've got all the like Sour Guts and everything, you can do some pretty good damage just counterfiring the Ungor Raiders. Pretty close so far. Got a really nice Portal Glyph summon coming out here. Some more Chaos Furies of Nurgle coming in. Interesting choice. Going after the Ungor Raiders and just flattening them in one fell swoop. Chaos Furies compromising this Ungor Raider back here. Beastmen on the back foot immediately. The Minotaur Great Weapons are a little out of position too. Really nice Pendulum. Pops the barrier on the Chromatic Abominations, but they do have their barrier boost going for a little bit there. Wears off here. Butchers of Kalkengard all over these poor little blues. Got some Ungor Spearherd in here as well, but a lot of the Beastmen front line is being sent packing. This is why there's definitely a time and a place for Ungor Spearherd. They're not a bad unit, don't get me wrong. It's just a little unfortunate that we're probably watching them in 2 of their worst matchups right now. They're just so vulnerable to demonic entities and just like good focus fire because their armor is really bad, their leadership is okay, they don't have great stats. Usually you want to bring Ungor Spearherd against factions like Empire, Grand Cathay, and the Beastmen Mirror Match. They're pretty good. Bretonia. Matchups where there's lots of cavalry and they can just sneak around the field with Stalk and get set up for potential ambushes. It actually ends up being pretty vicious. Karanak hasn't gotten a lot of value. He summons out his Fleshhound summon to keep the Minotaur Great Weapons at bay, as well as the Butchers at Kalkengard. The Shrieking Skyrays getting onto the rear of this fight with Nurgling support. Oh, brutal. Well, the Nurglings are crumbling out here. We'll see how this goes. Fleshhound Summon is getting about 400 value, give or take. It's doing some pretty good work. And the Shrieking Skyray's in here. Might be able to kill a couple of the Butchers. Butchers have taken a lot of HP damage, but they only lost one model. They will be able to come out and do pretty well late in the game here if they just stay alive and they're able to go Region in the Forest or something. Jabberslythe out in the field, and it looks like Barry looks to be on the back foot if you just take the value traits into consideration. Here's the problem for the Demons of Chaos. Where are their units on the ground now? They don't have anything on the ground. Like this is the last Nurgling that's crumbling out now. They've got the Sour Guts, they've got a Fiend, and they've got the Hellforged Bellowers. But they've spent a lot of money on this Exalted Lord of Change. He's not providing any cap weight on the ground. And single entities have decent cap weight, but it's not so good that they'll be able to outpace the Beastmen, who do just have like I would say a more substantial ground force here. The Jabberslythe, big damage as it charges in here. Pushing through, going after the Hellforged Bellowers now, and the Doom Bull's also been fairly survivable. Being attacked by Fiends now, he definitely wants to get out of there. He actually does a somersault through one of the Fiends, knocks it over, and gets into the Sour Guts here. With the backup from the Butchers now. Could be potentially flipping this a little bit for the Beastmen. They're behind on points, and they're struggling to find a way to take the points right now. They got some Goreherd moving up. Goreherd with shield are okay. I don't talk about them a whole lot. They're just kind of mediocre. They don't really do anything that crazy. The dual weapon Goreherd are usually better. And they would probably uptrade into the demons a little bit more consistently for the Beastmen. Minotaur, great weapons, pretty poor value on them. Butcher's also not doing too hot. I just don't love Minotaurs for the Beastmen. They don't really do a whole lot. They honestly are pretty mediocre units. The Jabberslythe is able to take down the Hellforged Bellowers. Being attacked by Fleshhounds now. It doesn't want to sit here and fight Fleshhounds, actually. Gonna get out of here. Oh, wait, no, the Hellforged Bellower got away. Oh, it's over here now. God, dude, the Skull Cannons are so freaking quick. It always surprises me, man. I think it surprises a lot of people how maneuverable these are. Just able to maneuver at will and escape and just do all kinds of disgusting nonsense. Doombull gets caught by Karanak. Karanak with some great value. The Fiends are in here as well, chipping away. About 500 value on them, ain't bad. And Bobby, it was looking a little scary for a moment there, but Bobby is rallied. Barry just doesn't quite have the kind of army that you want to fight the Demons of Chaos with, I think. Doombull dies. Leadership problem is going to be a huge issue for the Beastmen now. They don't have anything to stop the Hellforged Bellowers either. And the Jabberslythe, it honestly did pretty well, all things considered. I mean, there's a lot of units out here that counter it. Still got 900 value. Karanak finishes off the Jabberslythe. He's got 2300 value. I love me some Karanak, dude. Karanak is pretty underestimated now. Because of the way that Domination Mode works, I find that the meta changes dynamically just based on the play styles that become more popular depending on like what people are like winning tournaments, if that makes sense. So the meta changes dynamically, and what that tends to mean is that there are times that units will fall off because your opponent is kind of building their armies to counter those units. If you can adjust to that and start bringing some of the now off-meta stuff, you can maybe flip matchups on their heads. And I think Karanak is making a bit of a comeback because people are bringing more expensive lords again. When Karanak came out, he was like super busted. He's a lot more balanced now, but he's still really strong, as you can tell. people were like bringing less expensive lords into like Demons of Chaos and Khorne because they didn't want their lord to get sniped out. With like Karanak just terrorizing everything that was really expensive and shutting down all of the magic casting and whatnot. So people were hedging their bets, but they're not really doing that so much anymore, and I think Karanak is very, very strong still. Even after getting the damage nerf on Prey of the Blood God and it being limited to 3 uses, his Howl and the Brass Collar just give him so much utility. He's great. I mean, he supports mobile fights pretty well. Obviously, he's very good at killing lords and heroes. But just doing stuff like this, attacking these Centaurs and, like, debuffing them with the Wounded Prey that he inflicts on units. Here it is. Lowers melee defense and it increases the vigor on units. Really strong. Not so good on the Centaurs since they have perfect vigor, but on like Bestigor herds and Chaos Warhounds, as well as the Gore herds with shields. Pretty nice to see. Bestigor herds getting run over because they're just all alone now. There's too much over here. The Fiends are getting good value against them. Fleshhounds all over them with Karanak and the Bellowers and the Exalted Lord of Change.
I knew it. Unending glory is yours.
Unlucky for the Beastmen, honestly. Something that I would like to see here is double Cockatrice. I actually really like them. Instead of bringing the Minotaurs, double Cockatrice in the sky would do a pretty good job of shutting down the Exalted Lord of Change. He'll get pummeled by the Cockatrices pretty hard. I've done the 1v1 testing, and in the double team, the Cockatrices very easily kill the Lord of Change. Gets a little bit iffy if it's a one-on-one, though. You can also use the Petrifying Gaze on the Cockatrice to hit the Hellforge Bellowers, lock it down, get a decisive engagement on it. You just don't need the Minos and the Bushes of Kalkengard here. They don't really do anything very special for you. And it's a lot of infantry. Not enough mobility on that Beastman build. You need more Senties. You also would benefit pretty tremendously from the magic damage from something like the Sons of Goros. The Sons of Goros can kill the Skull Cannons pretty damn fast. It'll be really painful. Harpies were to stuff the reinforce. That makes sense. Don't think. That's why you bring. That's why you need the chariot. Because the Beastmen do lack a way to like break through the Dowie formations, and the Razorgore chariot is very, very, very capable of it. But keeping the Cygor out on the field as a terror-causing piece wouldn't have been a bad idea. Because like I said, the Dowie actually don't have that many units that are ITP. Let's actually go take a little gander real quick. They've got Longbeards and the Longbeard Great Weapons, Slayers. Slayers tend to get a little pricey. Oh, Ironbreakers aren't even ITP. Are you serious? The Norgremling's Ironbreakers are, but the standard ones aren't. Oh, okay. Doomseekers are terrible into the Beastmen because they just get shredded by multiple Gore herds. It sucks. It's kind of funny to watch happen. Doomseekers get ripped apart by multiple Gore herd units attacking them. The dual weapon variant. Because the dual weapon Gore herds have good enough melee attack. They hit pretty comfortably against the Doomseekers, and these guys have 0 armor, and dual weapon Gore herd have a ton of weapon strength. 42, which is pretty crazy. And yeah, it says 36 at base, but they get Primal Fury, which is another 5, and then they've got their bonus versus large, which is 5. So they have, functionally, how much melee attack? They've got 51, sorry, not 51. They've got 46 melee attack to use against a Doomseeker. The Brotherhood of Grimnir can be a little bit more survivable, but usually don't do that well. Bugman's Rangers are ITP, but you go through the rest of this, you know, like, most of the cheap Dowie stuff don't have a... So having a terror-causing unit to run around and scare all the dwarves is honestly not bad. You can also bring a Jabberslife. The Vorbagland Broodmother is pretty gross into the Dowie. It's got some missile resistance, mediocre armor, but it's fast at 65 speed for such a big monster. It's got a shit ton of mass, impossible to lock down with good leadership, good melee defense, and melee attack with a great bonus versus infantry. And the charge animations on the Jabberslides, their collision damage is pretty gross. They kill like 20-30 models on the upper end of their charges when they're just plowing through units. Let's get some Skaven action going. We haven't showed them off a whole lot. Every time you brought Jabberslife gets Giga owned by missiles. That's fair. It's better out of reserve. Jabberslides into big missile lines can be really risky. They're pretty big targets. You got to keep them on the move. Your micro has to be really good for Jabberslife. Dude, I love the Skaven. They're so, aesthetically and lore-wise, they're my favorite faction, by far. I don't love playing them in the game, but boy are they, hilarious. You got Ikit Claw, he's got Flensing Ruin, Howling Warp Gale, and Storm Demon. Is he using Storm Demon? Oh, he is! Oh, but he misses. I swear, I think Katarina's sled is bugged again. Although it looks like the 90 Bubos are able to hit her, but that Storm Demon just whiffed horrendously. It's not like she was moving when it got cast either. I don't know, man. I'm gonna need to do a little bit more testing on that on my own time. Suga doing a great job of grabbing the points. Skaven being a little too tentative. Skaven have really good cap weight, guys. Clan Rats have full cap weight. They're not an expendable unit. Skaven slaves are expendable. But your standard Clan Rat obviously has a very inflated sense of self, so take advantage of that to just swarm points and try to lock them down early. Because if the Skaven get a stranglehold on the objectives early on, and they're able to just swarm the field with bodies and numbers and bring all their other good stuff out behind that, it's rough playing into them. They've definitely got some very viable strategies. The double Warplock Jezzail is a really good call. Armored Kossars just get absolutely hard countered by the Shield Breaker and good weapon strength on the Jezzail teams. You can see them. I mean, they've taken down this Armored Kossar to less than half health already. A lot of these guys are getting their heads shot off. God, dude. It just feels so vicious when you get in close like that. The Jezzail's making contact. Jezzails don't really sound all that impressive when they're firing, but the impact is crunchy as hell, and you gotta love it. Zarina getting nailed by Flensing Ruin, and also shot by some of the Jezzails here. She's taking a lot of damage, man. Suga's just not utilizing Zarina on the sled the way that she's designed. You don't want to use all the ammo before you use her in melee. It's really not that special, her missile strength, it's mediocre at best. It's just supplemental damage for cycle charging through units. Against a Skaven line that's got a bunch of Giselles, you'd probably want to keep her back, take your 1 point, and make sure that you're pushing units from both sides of the battlefield to try and compromise the backline. And once the Giselles are shooting other stuff, then you bring Zarina forward to try and run through the heart of the Skaven army. Frostworm out here and available, but bogged down in infantry right now, and now getting counterfired again. God, dude, the Natty Boobos have been nasty this game. This Warp Block Giselle took a lot of damage, but is fairly functional. It's got 21 models. That's more than enough firepower, I would say. Avalanche Mortars also out on the field with 651 value. Killing some of these Griffin Legion and Dervishes, it looks like.
Woeful tidings. The enemy has captured one of your victims.
A very unfortunate clan rat unit right there, obviously. They're so enthusiastic.
I want to fight man-things.
Yeah, they want to fight man-things, guys. Let the boys feast. Oh my god, dude. Ugh. Yeah, the Avalanche Mortars are a pretty horribly powerful unit. You cannot wander into range of the Avalanche Mortars and get away with it. The airburst projectiles just do so much damage. My god. Oh my god. Oh no. 2,000 value? About 1,800. Yeah, now Suga's kind of, like, desperate, and is just, like, YOLOing stuff up into the back line. This works to some extent, but not when it's just one unit. If you had all of your cavalry diving back here at once, then you could probably kill the weapon teams. Doing them one at a time, though, is just never going to pay off enough for you. Good Death Frost, nailing Ikit here, an upgraded version as well. So he's taken quite a bit of damage. He has actually paid for himself, though, just by using the Flensing Ruins already. And Zarina is back in range of the Natty Boobo sharpshooters. Frostworm very beat up. We do have the Patriarch with the Solyaks, but he's already used one of them. And Zarina's going to die before she's able to get any more heals. Oh, she's got Dire Blood active. I was like, why is she unbreakable? She's not unbreakable. She is when Dire Blood is active, though. So she died in between the time that it activated and that the Giselles are able to lock in on her again. Really nice Flensing Ruin. It's so good, man. I mean, one of the nastiest spells in the game. It's just so damn efficient. Like, it kills everything well. Like, it does pretty respectable damage to infantry, good damage to cavalry, really good damage to monstrous units, in fact. And then against single entities, it's just like a slightly weaker in terms of, like, the damage per tick Spirit Leech. But it lasts way longer. It lasts for ages. 24 seconds is a long time for 15 wins of magic and an AoE, man. Zargard get up to the point, but the Skaven have the numbers here. They've got plenty of Rat Ogres as well to hold the line on this point until the Natty Boobos come back out. The Avalanche Mortars are also moving up. They will wreck this Cossar unit. Let's actually watch this. Yep, incoming shots. I would imagine these guys are going to have about a third of their health left at most. It's actually pretty lucky, honestly. They lost a little bit more than half. Okay. Streltsy going to be the next target. Collective has had really good targeting priority with the missiles. constantly swapping targets and just overwhelming Sugar with the firepower. Oh my god, man. And people complained about the Hellforged Bellowers being broken. The Avalanche Mortars are still out here doing stuff like this. They're not overpowered. They're fairly squishy, but Skaven have the bodies to be able to protect them and allow them to do just disgustingly heinous stuff like this on a regular basis, so it's a little scary. Oh, point-blank shooting, and the poor horse archers get massacred on the way in. What a great use out of the mortars there. Broken arrow firepower coming in there. Streltsy retreating. This is basically just going to be winding the clock out. I mean, Suga is absolutely screwed here. These guys are going to have like, oh my god, they've already got 3,000. I was going to guess they'd get over 3,000. Might end up with 4,000 value. They got 3 more volleys. You're going to hit a Streltsy here, and yep, half health. What's next? Kossars. Probably finish this unit off completely. Pretty close. More fire on the Streltsy. Just a casual 4,000 value. No worries. Alright. Oh, wow, they still have a volley? What the hell, dude? Oh my god. Oh, the Avalanche Mortars. Oh. 4,200 value on the Avalanche Mortars. And the Giselles haven't been slouches either. 1,500 on this Giselle. Natty Bubo's got close to 2,000, I'm pretty sure. And they're just wailing on the Griffin Legion. Griffin Legion have been really bad this game. They have actually been a huge drag on on Kislev's army here. They just haven't been able to get into combats. They've just been getting massacred over and over again by the Avalanche Mortars and the Giselles before they really even get anything done. They're able to get some of the Gutter Runners and the Night Runners here, but Rat Ogres onto the flank. Too beat up to really do much to the Rat Ogres, and they do get ground down here. Beautiful stuff from Collective. Swarming with all the numbers, doing a great job of pressing the back objective and occupying enemy units. The focus fire was immaculate. All of the weapon teams used every last bit of ammo and then got unsummoned. This Giselle would have been eventually. Got 1,900, 2,400 on Natty Bubos. And then we all saw what the Avalanche Mortars did. I don't want to talk about it, guys. I've had that happen to me with the Avalanche Mortars before. They're crazy strong against infantry. Alright, a couple more replays. Then we'll be on our way out. What do we want to watch? I already saw this one. Melkor and Spida. Wait. Oh, I think it's a duplicate. Yeah. Yeah, we did watch this one. Beluga, and yeah, we watched Beluga already. We might be getting down to having seen most of the games. I've been a little inconsistent with deleting the ones that I've already seen, so it's definitely a lot in here that we've already covered. But we haven't seen this one. We've got Valkia for Khorne here, no Demon Shield. Collective rocking in with Ikit, of course. Super meta option for the Skaven. Probably the only meta option for Lords. Some Gutter Runners. We've got the Deathglow Bombardiers here. With the Natty Bubos backing that up. Clan Rat and Skaven Slaves front line.
I do not ask you to fight. I am telling you to fight.
Yeah, let's go Valkia. So, Marauders moving forward. We've got some Chaos Warriors here. I do like Chaos Warriors into the Skaven. They actually do pretty well. Gutter Runner's getting some vicious damage in on the Marauder Horsemen here. Oh my goodness. Big losses. 12 models lost. Almost half the HP gone on those guys as well, man. Oof. Corngors and Marauder Horsemen taking the number 1. I wouldn't send the Marauders around this corner here. They're going to get shot to death by the Gutter Runners if they try. You probably just leave them here, because then the Gutter Runners can't really push up here. Should be pretty nice. Good Brass Orb onto the Marauders. Looks like the Chaos Warrior is going to run into the AoE as well. Taking quite a bit of damage. You gotta be really careful with those, you gotta be really careful with the Brass Orb. Lasts for quite a while. It's very dangerous. Howling Warp Gale goes down and snares Valkia. This is why you bring Demon Shield against the Skaven, because Howling Warp Gale lasts for 14 seconds. Demon Shield lasts for 13? Yeah, 13 seconds. All this damage that Valkia just took from the Natty Bubo's sharpshooters, you would have avoided completely. You don't want to let Valkia get hit in the early game by magic and missiles. Ouch, dude. Now a Flensing Ruin going down. Valkia's gonna take only 65% of the normal damage, thanks to the spell resistance, but that's still really uncomfortable for her. It's another, like, 700 HP lost almost. It's not really something that she can afford. She doesn't have a truly massive HP pool. It's decent, but definitely something that can be worked around. Deathglobe's firing in on the Marauders, but also doing a little bit of friendly fire damage. We got more Marauders breaking through past the Skaven Slaves. Massive Fury collapse coming in, and there's the throwing axes getting into the back line. Uh-oh. Skaven may be in trouble here. You got the Deathglobes being shut down by a Fury and by the Marauder Horsemen back here. Marauder Horsemen of Khorne are really good at melee. They got good weapon strength and a great charge bonus. They're actually able to cause a rout on the Deathglobe Bombardiers here. Natty Bubo is also getting picked apart by the Furies. This is why the matchup is so favored for Khorne. Furies are just devastating to the Skaven. They counter literally everything the Skaven have. I kid you not, by the way. The only thing Furies don't kill that the Skaven have is, like, their single entities and Doomflayers. They kill everything else. They kill Rat Ogres, they wreck Clan Rats, they kill Skaven Slaves. They beat Eshin Triads. They even do great damage to the Death Runners, as they get around the physical resistance that Death Runners have, and Death Runners can't get around the Phys Res that Furies have. It's actually a pretty good fight for the Furies. What else? They kill Plague Monks. They kill Plague Monk Sensor Bearers. As long as they're not just flying in for a pure 1v1 against stuff, and they're getting, like, rear charges or going after the weapon teams, they just get oodles and oodles of value. It's amazing. Valkia gets hit by another Flensing Ruin, getting shot at by the Natty Bubos as well again. She did good damage to Ikit, though. Ikit is looking pretty beat up. 846 value on her. She dropped a Sleipnir as well. It was decent. Not like the craziest thing in the world. Doesn't have to be all the time. Just facilitating breakthroughs in the front line is good enough for her. Marauder, dual weapons with the Fleshhounds taking down the Wolf Rats and saving their #1 objective. Clan Rat Spears over there too. Couple of Rallying Horsemen. This one not going to be getting away. 800 value on the other. These Furies probably have close to enough value to pay for themselves. Some of them probably have well over, yeah. So, one Fury paying for itself right now. The other two have gotten 800 and 900 value, which is really awesome. And they've got a decent amount of HP to work with. They'll crumble after the next fight, but with the charge bonus that Furies get as a flying unit with their like solid weapon strength, they do pretty nasty shock damage. They can get in here and probably kill Natty Bubos and the Deathglow Bombardier here. Or you can use one to like rear charge those clan rats. That could work too. The globes are getting some really nasty work done against the Marauders and the Chaos Warriors here. They have gotten folded up pretty badly. A lot of damage going down that Khorne doesn't really want to allow happen. You know, they can afford it a little bit just because they have a value lead, but it can get a little scary for Khorne without infantry on the field. They do have one very healthy Chaos Warrior here. They got a Khorne Gore as well as a Marauder out on the number 3. Another Khorne Gore looking for a flank. Really good engagement for Khorne. Fleshhounds do beat Rat Ogres. Rat Ogres just don't have a way around the Physres on Fleshhounds. Fleshhounds have pretty good weapon strength themselves, and they have more models than the Rat Ogres. The Rat Ogres, once they start dropping models, do less and less efficient damage to the Fleshhounds. While the Fleshies just get more and more, like, consolidated damage in on the remaining models of Rat Ogres. You've got the throwing axes back here, throwing in a little bit, getting some extra poke. But nothing less like breaking the back of those Rat Ogres. It's really just the Fleshhounds doing the majority of the work. One Mino Great Weapon hanging out in the back line. Marauder dual weapons, looking to charge back in and get a little extra value before they go out. Chaos Warriors haven't gotten a lot of value, but they have held the line really well. They've been very hard to break down. They're just helping to anchor a little bit. Khorne has the triple cap. They've got the Skaven pinned in the backfield here. More good pressure with the Fleshhounds. I'm really impressed with Seth and Beluga, who we watched earlier. They have been really good with the Fleshhound pressure. They've been finding good one-on-ones with them. They've also done a really good job of using them as the hammer off of all of the Khorne infantry. And they just continue to compromise expensive Skaven units here. Wolf Rats are in position to countercharge, but Collective is just a little too slow to get in there. Definitely feeling the heat here. Oh no, and a Sword of Khorne coming down. It doesn't do good damage to weapon teams. As I say that, though, I actually did pretty respectable work there.
I knew it. Unending glory is yours.
Maybe it's just because I'm not targeting it in the right area around the weapon teams. It took about a third of their HP off, but the Skaven slaves got deleted, and that's just GG. When Khorne is throwing Sword of Khorne down on you, you're in deep shit, dude. Because the way that Sword of Khorne works and the Khorne army abilities work is that it can charge itself back up. If you drop Sword of Khorne and kill 300 entities, you will get army ability charges because of that. It's really crazy. And it's really strong against the Skaven. And you can use Horn of Khorne, Relentless Rage, and Sword on cooldown in this matchup oftentimes. Because, you know, you're killing just waves upon waves of these crappy little Raki. And they just bleed so many army abilities over into you. What do we got here? Let's watch Beluga again. I've been watching a lot of Khorne the last few games, but I don't hate it. I just... like, the Blood God's my favorite faction. Unembarrassed to admit it. We'll see how Khorne does here. They have the Bloodwake Berserkers in their army here, which is, you know, I mean, the Bloodwake Berserkers are strong as hell. Great unit. Maybe a little immobile for the Tomb Kings.
Bloodlust. These are our virtues. Fly at the bone. So call your honor.
Yeah, let's go. The Bloodwake Berserkers are pretty weak to missiles. They've got 70 armor, which is okay, but stuff like the Skeleton Archer Chariots are going to be able to poke them pretty aggressively. Same with the Skelly Horse Archers. If all they do is shoot down the Bloodwake Berserkers, that alone will be a massive win for the Tomb Kings. Like, absolutely monumental. Because Tomb Kings, they don't struggle against, they don't really struggle against the Khorne infantry. Like, Cetra on the Sphinx alone is usually good enough about running over, like, Marauders, Chaos Warriors, and Forsaken that you don't really need that many answers for them. The Bloodwake Berserkers are just a nightmare in melee combat. They take forever to kill, they get tons of value in the process. If you shoot them to death, even if you use every last arrow on these Skeleton Archer Chariots and the Horse Archers to do it, denying the Bloodwake Berserkers the possibility to uptrade and get like 3,000 value is big money, man. Marauders moving in. See them out capping the Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings have horrible cap weight. They literally are incapable of holding on to a point as a result, oftentimes. Brutal charge. Look at the damage that those Marauders just took from the Archer Chariots. Great stuff, dude. This is why I like the Archer Chariot more than the melee version alone. The Skeleton Archer Chariots have the exact same stats as the melee version, plus a very powerful missile with 140 meter range. And it fires quick, too. Every 6 seconds is one of the faster firing missile pieces in the entire, like, game. Across every faction, even. Skulltaker fighting the front line, Bloodwake Berserkers trying to finish off a Skeleton Spear. Using a Horn of Khorne on this pocket is... I don't know. I wouldn't really use Horn of Khorne here. I'd actually try and pop it here. Just to allow the dual weapons to chew through this Skeleton Spear a little quicker and maybe allow these Marauders to do some extra damage to the Skeleton Warriors before they go out. They are getting the buffs from Skulltaker, though, and he does have his Cloak of Skulls up. Cetra got beat up a little bit by some of the throwing axes. Oh no, and the Chariot's getting hounded down by the Khorne Horsemen. Really good stuff here. Meat not included, getting a little overzealous with the Archer Chariots. Needed to play the skirmish game a little bit longer. Eyes of the Desert being attacked by Marauder Horsemen, just stopping them firing the laser eyes. Losing your Horsemen, not great, but denying damage to the Eyes of the Desert isn't bad either. Khorne Horsemen killing some of the Horse Archers. Very nice. Horse Archers get absolutely shredded by the Khorne melee cav. It's really ugly for them. Because the Skeleton Horse Archers have 30 armor and awful melee defense. The Khorne Horsemen with 40 melee... or not 40 melee attack. 40 weapon strength. With 32 melee attack when Frenzy is active with the charge bonus they get. Usually makes pretty short work of the Horse Archers. Fleshhounds are also a good counter to them. Scrapping in here, Skulltaker's rolling around. Mysterious, the loudest goddamn noise I've ever heard in my life there. And the Fury's gonna go for their dive now. Not a bad time for them. They do reasonably good damage to Sepulchral Stalkers. They've just got really solid melee attack. And the weapon strength is good enough to get around the 80 armor of the Stalkers. See more and more Khorne pressure. Onto the sneaky snakes here. On a good intercept coming in. Going to be using the Flesh Hounds and the beat up Horsemen to scream after the Skeleton Horsemen here. And the Flesh Hounds are going to take the head up fight. Really good damage on the charge, I'm sure. Starting to really poke those guys down. You get the Hounds coming in underneath of that. This is where the Hounds can get some pretty good value. Wearing out a lot of those units. Furies go down, but the Eyes of the Desert still can't fire their damn lasers. That's where the majority of the value for the Sneaky Snakes is. Them getting 900 value in melee combat exclusively is honestly a little out of the norm. Bloodwake Berserkers still rampaging around. Marauders looking pretty beat up. Not a whole lot to say about them. They were respectable, if unspectacular. That's kind of the MO for Marauders in general. Oh, the Screaming Skull Catapult gets shut down by the Chaos Warhound here. Alright, this Warhound unit's been pretty amazing. They are going to get run over by the Chariot. Oh my god. Holy crap. Wow, dude. Oh, that's amazing, honestly. That's great damage from that Archer Chariot. I mean, it basically one-shot that Hound unit. They were at about 4/5 of their health when they came in. Corn mobility all over the Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings have, like, no infantry. Like, you're like, oh, they got no infantry? They got 3 Skeleton Warriors. Yeah, that's not enough cap weight to stop the Bloodwake Berserkers and Skulltaker from just capping this away from them. Nakar Horsemen getting charged by the Corn Hounds. Shot at by the Hellforge Bellowers as well. More Archer Chariots coming in. Getting stuck up once more.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Furies crumble out, and the Necrocarl Horsemen and Skeleton Horsemen are just everywhere now. Good commits to the melee fights, though, from Khorne. Just not leaving anything to chance and not allowing the Tomb Kings to get any kind of free value. And racking it up with their own units and in return. Chariot dead, Bellowers with 1,500, Skulltaker with 19, Bloodwake Berserkers with what, 13? Yeah, 1,300 value. Getting cycle charged by the Horse Archer Chariots, but
Unending glory is yours.
getting shut down after that by the Throwing Axes as well as the Flesh Hounds. Tomb Kings very much kept in check that game. Need to play a little more patiently. Probably just poke longer with your Horse Archers and bring out the Chosen of the Gods so that they can shoot the Bloodwake Berserkers. That would be my recommendation for meat. And then you just make sure you hold on to your back point and value trade against your opponent all game. We need to find a match for the end here. Cathay versus Dark Elves. Let's do this for our last game. Cathay into Dark Elves would be a fun one. Not a super common matchup. Cathay is just not really used all that much. And, Dark Elves, the Druki, they typically get used into, like, kite factions, or to kite other factions, I guess I should say. They want to be the ones running everyone around. Fighting into a faction that's really durable, like Cathay, could be an issue for the Druki. Okay, what is this? Don't do this. This is a bad idea. This is a really bad idea. You're obstructing your guns, and you're just blobbing yourself up to get nailed by enemy, like, artilleries and spells. That's... maybe Potato Devil spreads out. Potato Devil has to spread out. It's going to get real ugly otherwise. Pont is 100% the kind of player who will punish that. Take care, Tom. Thank you for dropping by. No, never ever worry about not being able to stick around for a whole stream. I'm never under any kind of obligation for it. I just appreciate people checking it out at any point in time. So, lots of Iron Hail gunners. You got a couple Crane gunners with a Peasant Long Spearman back here. Okay. So, Cathay went with absolutely no Jade Warriors, which I don't hate, honestly. It's not like Jade Warriors are that good anyways. But you don't have enough Harmony for your whole formation here. You got 3 Peasant Spears and that's it. That's so hard to position. So this Peasant Spear needs to sit here. The Crane Gunners sit here. Your other 2 Peasant Spears sit here. And then you just need to build up with infantry for the number 2. I really don't like how this is starting out. Amber Spear, Transformation of Kadan. Not really anything to punish that early blob. And Potato is doing a pretty good job of getting the formation a little bit more situated. But you see the holes and the Harmony. Cathay has to have Harmony on everything. They're awful without it. It's so ridiculous that they have to be this close together. This is so close for missiles to be to the front line, dude. Gosh. I want Harmony to get a buff. I mean, seriously. It cannot stay this bad for so long. That's a really nice Curse of Honor here. Lowering the melee attack and melee defense by 24 on the Crowman. The Harpies and the Manticore caster doing really good damage here. Might be able to kill 1 Onyx Crowman before Curse wears off, although maybe not going to quite get it done. But these guys are also pretty beat up, so maybe they get finished off anyways. Looks like they're going to be running away. Scourger and Chariot's being shot away by the Crane Gunners here, which is awesome. 1 Crowman goes down, the other totally surrounded in the sky here and taking horrible casualties. And that's the Summoned Manticore. Cool. You definitely need to make sure that it's doing stuff. Okay, it's going to get in here. It'll probably get about 150 value. It's not like it's honestly pretty cost ineffective oftentimes. I don't love the summoned units. I think they're kind of terrible, period. I've tried with them many times in the past. Just always seems to end up being a huge waste. Fire Rain Rockets do open up, but they don't really get any damage done. So this is what you do here, right? There are like 4 melee units on the field right now. Ignore all of them. Use the Dark Shards to hit the isolated Peasant Long Spearmen, while your melee troops rush past and get on top of all the Iron Hails. Pont's done a really good job of surrounding here. This is how you overwhelm a gun line. You get all of your units, you build up a few extras behind your starting army, you surround on both sides with like a main formation pushing in one area, with a bit of a side show going on that you then win, and then you follow up with a total collapse on the flank. The Iron Hail Gunners are all running, the Crane Gunners are shut down, they're not going to rally either. They're going to get killed here. Unsummoning the Iron Hail, or not the Iron Hail, Rocket Battery. The Fire Rain Rocket Battery is getting unsummoned here. And I honestly don't hate that, because it's not like it can do anything, because all of your units are like locked in melee combat now, so what would you really be accomplishing by firing in here? You'd probably kill just as many of your own guys as the enemy at this point. Coldwood Knights running down Iron Hails. We've got some Harpies looking to land in and help. Pont doing a really good job with the Scourger and her Chariots. Running down a lot of infantry. Bloodrat Medusa in here. It's been chipping away as well. 300 value. Definitely could go after the Astromancer. It's looking a little bit isolated out here. Celestial General is holding the line, but he just doesn't get that much value outside of the Celestial Sweep. Celestial Sweep is super crucial for this guy's value trade potential, and I just haven't seen him use it yet. Really nice Wind Blast going down from the Astromancer. He does have Mastery of the Elemental Winds. If you had Zhao Ming or an Alchemist to back up the Astromancer, Wind Blast can do probably like half the HP off of this Dark Shard, just one cast with all the magic spell intensity boosts. Because you can stack it up to 145 with just characters. If you include a Wujing War Compass, you get 160% efficiency on your spells, which is pretty nasty for Cathay. They've got some really good spells on their roster and in their lures. Crane Gunner's dying here. Astromancer trying to escape from the Medusa. Hasn't been turned to stone yet. I guess he can hold his head up on that in that regard. He's just getting bullied though, man. That Manticore character has done some really good damage in melee. Harpies flying overhead. They're going to shut down the Nagao grenades. Very dead Celestial General. Looks like the Cold One Knights took him down. I don't think he used Celestial Sweep once this game. Gotta use that when you've got it available. This is just a great showcase of Cathay just can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. Like, you make one or two mistakes as Cathay, and that's going to snowball into a broader issue that you just aren't going to have answers for usually. Jade Lancers beat up as hell and being attacked by AP Anti-Large Cav. Really good Heaven's Flash, though, debuffing the Cold One Knights. Anything else that hit? The other Cold One Knight, I guess. Everything else is looking okay. Got out just in time, or avoided the pretty narrow radius on this. Celestial Lion landing in here. Very powerful single entity. This is the preferred mount for the Celestial General anyways, because the Celestial Lion has Fearsome Roar, which removes ITP and lowers leadership, which is a great wombo combo for causing terror routes. It's really awesome. You just use your Celestial General to rear charge everything in the front line and debuff them all into terror routes. It's pretty cool. Very, very powerful for Cathay. Cathay is going to get massacred on the way, and oh my god, those Dark Shards deleting the Peasant Horsemen. Cold One Dread Knights coming up. Pont is just all over Cathay and continues to constrict them. I mean, literally push them all the way off their own home objective now. Just a very cleanly played game. Celestial Lion getting shot up from the repeater crossbows and the Dark Shards here. Ends up having only 600 value. Owie. Taken down by the Supreme Sorceress. God, the Manticores are so fun. They're not a good unit per se, but the Manticores have great animations. They look cool. You bring them on a budget, and they can sometimes do some pretty good work. And they cause terror, which is really awesome. So for a hybrid character, a non-hybrid character like the Supreme Sorceress, getting her on a Manticore suddenly makes her fairly viable as a like a hybrid caster. I can't watch this anymore. Oh my god, man. Medusa's like all the way up in the back line, just firing the laser eyes at the Iron Hails. Moves over. Astromancer is in danger zone again. God, dude, he's just getting bullied again and again. Stop giving him wedgies. He didn't do anything.
Unending glory is yours.
Astromancer and his fancy helmet are going to be going back to his fancy house, and they're going to be rethinking their life after that one. Oh, I'd love to hear that, Iceman. That's so sick. I told you Kazrak is good, dude. I told you. We were talking about it yesterday. Do you believe now? What matchup did you bring him in? Did you use him against Korn? Please tell me you did that. Oh my god. That's actually what I'm about to tune off and go watch. I was gonna go see the stream today that Turin had going on same time as us. I think that's all I've got on me. It's just so freaking hot here. I've got to go cool down. I literally can't sit at my computer for more than like a few hours at a time. I'd love to do some more of the replays, but I don't think it's going to happen. We got almost all of them done. There's probably like 10 or 15 mixed out in here that I haven't gotten to, but we covered just about everybody. I think we've gotten all of the factions that were played in the tournament at least one time. We did the High Elves, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did on Saturday. Definitely did Coast. Anyways. I might watch through some of the other replays I haven't done on my own time. If any of them are really good, then I'll probably live cast them. Have some videos for when I take my beach trip. Because I'm going to be gone for about a week and a half. In the middle of July. So, I'll try and have stuff for y'all then. I just need to build up replays. So if y'all have any replays that you want to send me for me to cast, please send them in. I'm just going to spend a couple of days this coming week watching stuff and casting as many games as I deem worthy of it, so that y'all are set and there isn't a huge like drop-off in terms of content while I'm gone. Oh, Vampire Coast with Kazrak. Owwie. That's actually not a bad matchup for him. I mean, the Vampire Coast do have some good mass units, but they do struggle against chariots. So I can see how old One Eye can kind of brutalize him. When he's running over units, it's also hard to shoot him with gun units. Hell yeah. I'm gonna go check it out. I presume it's from this most recent tournament, Iceman. So that's what I'm gonna go watch now after I eat and find, you know, some relief from the damn heat here. So till next time, guys. I appreciate y'all showing up, checking out the stream. It was a little chaotic today. I had to cancel the first stream and restart everything because YouTube was just having an absolute fit and would not respect my setup for whatever reason. It's the first time that's happened in a while. So, see you later, guys. Take care, peace out, and GG's.